What is going on, guys? This is Altitude Chaz. If you follow me on Twitter, Chaz Altitude in the Slack room. It is January 2nd, 2022. Happy New Year. Hope you guys all had a great and safe one. I just wanted to get into this real quick. I'm just going to do a nice little week ahead. I'm going to go over the three main indices that I watch and then a few stocks that are on my watch list. So let's just get into this. Obviously, I'm sharing my screen right here. This is my trading view. I'm just on the simple, just daily chart. I just put these ranges and these zones in previously, so it would go pretty seamless today. So let's start with just SPX. What I'm watching into this new year. Obviously, right here, we're still flagging from this massive run we had from the 21st of December. Here's our poll. We're still in this flag, and technically, that flag doesn't negate until about 47.40, which is our demand zone. Anything in here, I'm actually not going to be looking to trade. I got chopped up pretty bad last week. I was forcing trades that really weren't there. So I'm just going to be focusing on patience as we head into this new week. So for us to get out of this flag and get a flag break, we're going to need back over 47.88. That's the level I'll be watching. And then the full breakout is going to be 48.05. And that gives us some blue skies to continue up. That said, here's our demand zone. Our demand zone is from 47.09, which has been a huge number these past few months. As you can see, all these days that we stalled out here. That's at 47.09 level. Lady, you guys see that? Knocked over my S for my SPX. All right, anyways, so that 47.09 level, if we come down into this 47.44 through 47.09, I'm going to be watching this close to be looking for a buy the dip option if we do get down to this 47.09 area. I think that's a good spot to be looking to start adding back in longs if we do indeed pull and we don't reverse back up and break this flag on SPX. So again, this whole area right here, I'm not going to be trading. I'm going to just be watching, waiting. There's other opportunities. There's other indexes that we can trade, and I'll be going into those right now. Next up, I have IWM, which obviously, as you can see, has the most room. We have room all the way up to 243 here if we're looking, or 244 if we're looking at all-time highs on IWM. SPX, we're right at it. IWM, we have quite a bit of room above us. So coming into tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at this IWM right here. Here's our daily trend. As you can see that's right here. We're actually flagging on the daily just like we are on SPX. So I will be looking to actually long some maybe Friday IWMs if we can get above this trend. That's about the 224 level. That 224 level is where I'm going to be looking at to try and get long and then look up to this gap fill we have up to 231. That's what I'll be watching on this trend. If this trend, if this flag negates and we don't break this trend, my first target of support on IWM, as you can see all through here, is going to be around the 219 level. 219, we do have a shot there to bounce, but if we do break through, I will be looking short on IWM all the way down to 212.50. So obviously, ideally, I'd like to see this trend break and this flag break, and then we get long and we look to target this gap fill up to 231. But not everything always goes ideally. So if this reverses, I'm going to be looking at this 219 as support, and if we get through that, I have no qualms getting short, looking down to the 212.50 level. Next up is QQQ, which, in my opinion, is just disgusting right now. I have no plans on trading this week or maybe even next week. Between if we are above 390 and below 400 in this area, I am not even going to be looking at QQQ. The Qs are off of the list. Below that. That said, if we do get back above 400, back above this big peak, which has been resistance obviously several times, if we get back above 400, that will give this flag a fantastic look to get a push up through to new all-time highs. We do have Tesla that had good delivery numbers, so that could be one little initiative. Amazon, I actually saw somebody posted, Amazon all year last year did 2%. Google did like 65% from January to December. Amazon did 2%. Like, it did absolutely nothing. So if we can see Tesla get this kind of spot, this gets started, start the new year right with those deliveries, a huge number of deliveries, we get a nice flag break, we get back over 400 on QQQ, then I think we're looking good again. Then I think I can get long the Qs and start looking back into tech. But right now, there's the biggest amount of room on IWM, and I think some rotation into small caps in the beginning of the year would not be bad at all. Give us time to flag out this SPX a little bit more because it is pretty extended. So those are my thoughts on those three indices. As far as my swing watch list, I have 3 on my list for this week. I have Tesla, I have Take-Two, and I have CRM. I'll pull up the Tesla. Obviously, you guys have already seen the news on their deliveries, just blowing it out of the water. But here's what it looks like on the chart for me, regardless of those deliveries. We have a flag here, just like the indices. Obviously, everything did the same thing. We went nuts for 4 days, and then we kind of just chopped around last week. In the last week of the year on very low volume because everybody was in the Hamptons. They don't work from Christmas to New Year's like anybody does. All right, so on Tesla, the levels I'm watching, I think we're going to gap up with that delivery number. We closed at 1056. The 1102 number is what I'm going to be watching close. And we likely gap up near that. I don't know if we're going to gap up much more than that, but we have a shot at gapping up near that. And even if we gap below, the 1102 is the level that I'm going to watch to hold. And if we can sustain above this 1102 level, I will be looking to get long the weekly 1150 calls on Tesla, with my initial target being 1146. You can see that here. I get that target from these candles right here. And if we get up to there and there's still some Momo coming in with that delivery number, we can target up to 1221. We have a gap to fill right there at 1221. So that's what I'm watching on Tesla. I like the delivery number. I'm looking over 1102 to get long the 1150 weeklies to target 1146 and 1221. Next up, Take-Two. This chart kind of fell off, but when you look at it zoomed out, I mean, it just looks prime. So I just have an alert set on this. I'm not really going to be watching it. It's a slower mover. It's a lower volume trader, especially on options. So on Take-Two, obviously we have this big level where we created this little flag over here. We came down below it. The level I'm watching is 180. We have this nice little W right here. From right here, and this 180 level is what I'm watching to target 187. If we can get a daily close back over this 180, I will look long the weekly 185 calls to target this 188 level. That's the second swing I'm looking at into tomorrow. Take-Two. And lastly, I have CRM. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Obviously, I posted this last week on this. Oh, pardon me. On this little IHS we have, it's kind of hard to see because there's single candles on this daily. Hourly would probably make it a little bit easier, but you guys can see what I'm saying. So we have this IHS. I posted this last week when we were at 252. We obviously got that big spike. If you were in it then, that was great. If not, if you got in a little late, then you kind of got chopped up again because we closed back down at 254. I like the big support at this red dotted line. That's our shoulder line right here from our head and shoulders, and you can see these wicks. The buyers are stepping in at that level. That's a 252 level. So if we do get a pull tomorrow, I will be a buyer near the 252 level as a starter position. But if we are between 252 and 256, I'm going to hold off and wait until we get a sustained level over 256. And if we do that, I will be looking along the weekly calls up to 260 as my first target, and then up near 265 in this gap fill as my second target. So over 256, I'm looking 260 weekly calls to target 260 then 265. And that's about all I have for today. Hope you guys all have a great weekend, great New Year's. Let's fucking kill it this year, guys. Let's just do it. Have a great rest of your weekend.